So if you are planning to ring in the new year with fireworks, local medical experts want you to stay safe, of course. Well, today a group of first responders gathered in front of Corpus Christi or Christus Spawn shoreline to send out a stern warning tonight. Our Bill Churchwell joins us now with those details. Bill.
The staff at Christus Spawn shoreline say they are ready for what could be a busy night. Staff at the Level 2 Trauma Center expect to treat everything from the common flu to injuries associated with car crashes to even burns. They say children are especially susceptible to those types of injuries related to fireworks. They ask that if you are celebrating with a bang tonight, to make sure children have adult supervision. Today, the Corpus Christi Fire Department, staff from Halo Flight, as well as doctors at Christus Spawn shoreline gathered outside the emergency room to encourage folks to play it safe.
I want to make sure that you're aware that burns are a major cause of injury to children during these times. In fact, sparklers account for 40% of the injuries that children experience.
It's really the high offender because children think it's fun, and then when they malfunction, they create a lot of damage to the child's hands and faces sometimes.
Christus Spawn is going on 12 years as having a Level 2 trauma center, and the staffs, they say they are ready to help whoever comes through their doors tonight. They also encourage folks not to shoot their guns into the air because what goes up must come back down. Mackenzie, back to you.
Absolutely.